Well. Good evening, and welcome to Late Night with Willie. We're doing something different here. Normally, we do a Spreaker program, and actually, frankly, just seconds ago, I got a Facebook message from Paul Swanson, and he basically told me there's this thing called BeLive.tv that I should look into. So you know what, my feeling is always like, well, there isn't any time like the present. Let's go ahead and look into it. Let's go ahead and see what this BeLive.tv is all about. And it broadcasts live through Facebook. So it seems like so far, I don't know. It seems like there doesn't seem to be as much, and I don't know. You're going to have to tell me because I don't know as much latency. The display on my side is nicer. I like that the camera hits me here, so you don't see all of this happening here. Like Jabba the freaking Hutt. Again, this is late night program, so I'm going to talk about things a little differently. So, because this is actually perfect because my thought is this. My thought is that what we're going to talk about tonight is what's the future of urban conservatism, and part of what we're talking about is that I hear a lot of people whining and moaning about Fox News. Oh my God, it's going away. It's terrible. Blah blah blah. The Murdoch brothers wanted to go liberal. Blah 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 blah. And in the last ratings, the Fox News network has dropped into the very first time, dropped into third place behind MSNBC and and CNN. So we are again. So I don't know. Are we looking at the end of an era? We may just be looking at the end of an era. Things don't. It's my thought that things don't last forever. You don't have a show or a network that's the number one show forever. Eventually, tastes change. Eventually, you end up finding out that again because things do change after a while. They just don't stay the same forever. So what does this mean? Well, frankly, it may not mean anything. See, and that's the deal. It may not mean anything. I think that a lot of people are now maybe more interested in politics and what's going on than they were before. The numbers also show that that there's been an increase in viewership, of all of the three major cable networks. So what does that mean? Does that mean that Fox is falling, or more people are in the game now than there were before? My belief is that there are just more people in the game than there were before, right? Just more people in the game than there were before. So again, no way to actually tell. No way to actually tell what's going on. No way to tell. So again, we will see as things play out. Today on my morning show, my guest was C.L. Bryant, and I'm going to tell you that I am so stoked that C.L. Bryant was on the program. I hadn't talked at any length to CL since the Content of Character tour that was here back in 2000. Golly, that had to be end of 2013. It had to be 2013, and of course everybody knows what happened in 2000 and in 2014 that I was ill. The way that we talk about it at my house, is, oh, that time you were sick, like I had a cold or something, which is really funny. Is how we refer to it at my house. We refer to it at my house like, oh yeah, that time you were sick. Remember the time that you had a cold? Remember that time that you bumped your toe? Yeah, and you couldn't walk for a week. Yeah, that's kind of how we refer to it. But in actuality, I had I ended up having triple bypass surgery. That's the time I was sick. So it's most of 2014. I didn't talk to anybody. It was great talking with him today. You can go to actually here on my Facebook page. You can see the link to the program we did this morning on my morning program, and you can check out what we talked about. You can listen in. He's amazing, absolutely amazing, and and it's always good to talk to CL. There isn't anybody, I think, that has a better view on conservatism and urban conservatism than C.L. Bryant. Let's see here. Thank you, Paul. Paul Swanson is in the blab.tv chat, which is on Facebook. Thank you again. This was, however it works out or not, this is Paul's idea. I'm just saying, this is Paul Swanson's idea. Is this pointing towards the chat room, Paul? Am I pointing towards the chat area, or is it the other way? I know on my screen it's this way, but I'm pretty sure that it's that way as I'm doing it live. So yeah, he'll own it. Thank you very much. But I thought we'd try it. Because for me, there's two things going on right now that I really want to talk about. There's two things going on. The first thing that's going on is that there's this bedwetting and hand wringing about Fox News, and I'm pretty sick. I'm really pretty sick of hearing it. As somebody who has been an independent source for commentary and analysis since March of 2008. And we have been running our campaign, Make the Switch, for about a month now. And what we want you to do is make the switch. And again, I told you I can't type and talk at the same time. But dagnabbit, I'm going to try, because this is one of the tools that we have here on BLAB TV. And this may indeed be a new broadcast tool that we use, depending on we are in beta, so I don't know how this is going to work out. I don't know if this is going to cost money. I don't know. I don't have any earthly idea, but we're going to find out. So the second that Paul told me about it, I thought, what the heck? We'll crank it up. We'll try it. But in any case, we've got that thing going on with Fox News. Like I mentioned before, in the latest ratings, Fox News is third of the big three in cable news after making some changes. One of the things that I heard after they removed Bill O'Reilly, of course they took down. Yeah, I like that too. They took down their highest rated show. They took off their highest rated show. It would have been like NBC canceling the Cosby Show in the height of must-see TV. And I actually heard, and it was just by happenstance, really. It was just by happenstance. I'm not listening to Glenn Beck on purpose. It was just the radio was on, and I was done with the morning program, and I was going to the bathroom, literally. And I heard the Glenn Beck program, and he had Bill O'Reilly has joined him for a segment, and they talked for a while. And what Bill O'Reilly said made a lot of sense to me. What Bill O'Reilly said was that Fox News is making these changes, which they are perfectly within their rights to do, but they don't have any plans. You know, they don't have any plans. They took this big leap, but they don't have any plans. What are we going to... Okay, so we get rid of O'Reilly. What do we do now? Well, I tell you what they do. They drop to third place. And Richard Maddow, that dude on MSNBC, has the top rated program on cable right now. Wow. Are you serious? You know? So Fox News made this big switch with absolutely no plan as to what came next. It's hard to believe, for me, it's really hard to believe that people who are supposed to be smart would do something so stupid. You know, it's like, are you kidding me? Okay, so now you're under all this pressure to get rid of O'Reilly. So you get rid of O'Reilly, your top program, with no plans really as to what you're going to do to replace him. How in the hell do you keep your job? My thought is that if I'm a stockholder in Fox News or Fox Properties, and I see this drop suddenly from running the show in cable news to sucking hind tit behind Richard Maddow, a racial mad cow, I'm looking for somebody's head on a platter. I'm looking for somebody's head on a platter. Bring me a Murdoch head. That's what I'm looking for. Because that knee-jerk reaction cost them millions of dollars. You know? Cost us millions of dollars. Cost them millions of dollars. So I'm sure that there are going to be more changes. Now, part of their problem is that they haven't adapted, and Paul mentioned that in the chat room, that all these major media sources had not adapted. They didn't account for me. They didn't account for TECN. They didn't account for Paul Swanson. They have not accounted for the C.L. Bryant show. They have not. Tools are becoming easier and easier for us to use. And being here, using people who are writing apps and writing applications for Facebook, like BeLive.tv, which is basically writing a Facebook app that we could use, especially if the price is right on this is absolutely amazing. Absolutely, positively amazing. I hope that I was able to. Paul, let me know. Did the audio settle down a little bit? Because I know it was pretty hot early on. Did the audio settle down? I hope so. But it is important that we look at what we're really seeing. It's important that we see what we're really seeing with this whole Fox News thing, and at the same time, I hear people crying and whining about that. But you know what I don't see nearly enough? What I don't see nearly enough is the support for the alternatives. TECN, the Willie Lawson show. I don't know, Paul. I don't know, but I can't hear it. There's no monitor on this whole Fox News. Oh, there is, but if I listen to it, there's latency and it'll make me start drinking again, so I can't listen to it. Um, I don't know. Maybe we'll try it again later, not tonight, but later, and we'll see if there's a sync problem that I can fix with a reboot of the machine and clearing out of cookies and internet files and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I know there's a live broadcast preview window that I'm watching here that is definitely behind my main window on my screen. So there could very well be a weird sync in audio, and we can test this tomorrow for sure. Let's see, what's tomorrow? Thursday? Yeah, we can test it after the morning program, Paul, and we'll work it out, or it won't get worked out. One of the two. It'll be whatever it is. It'll just be whatever it is. But what I don't see is a lot of support for independent sources. Now, there's a new thing called CRTV. CRTV has Mark Levin on it. It's got Steven Crowder on it and some other folks. If you are tired of mainstream media, if you're like, you know what, it's mainstream media is crap. The campaign that we're running here is called Make the Switch, and I misspelled it again, but I'll change it. Make the Switch. What we're doing on Make the Switch, and you can go to our Facebook page on Make the Switch, is what I'm asking people to do is to switch out one of your mainstream media sources for an independent source. I'd love for you for that to be the Willie Lawson program, or Late Night with Willie, or fightbackmedia.com. I'd love for, but you know what? If it's something else, if it's CRTV, do that. If it's MOU today.tv, and that's Move On Up Today.tv, which is going to host some of the exceptional conservative programs that are moving to internet TV. We'd love you to do that, and all you have to do is go to, and I'll write it down. Oops. I'm getting there. Probably hear it. ExceptionalConservativeShow.com website. You can go to the ExceptionalConservativeShow.com website, and then you can search. You can see right there on that website that there is a place to sign up for Move On Up Today.tv, and sign up for the premium channel that's going to have our shows on. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. That's going to have our shows on. So you can do that as part of our campaign, our Make the Switch campaign. Because I'll tell you what, it was our plan all along. It was our plan all along to put the pressure on Fox News, to put the pressure, excuse my nose, on CNN, to put the pressure on MSNBC, put the pressure on ABC, CBS, and NBC. It was our plan all along to put the pressure on them by getting you to make that switch. By getting you to make the switch. If we can get, I don't know, 20% of people who watch, news, analysis, and commentary to switch away from a major media source, whether that major media source is Fox News, MSNBC, CBS, or any of the ones that I mentioned, we can really make a difference. We can really start directing the narrative again. And that's what you see now. You see now, excuse my nose is itching. What we're seeing is a lot of the mainstream media controlling the narrative. In my interview with Andrew Breitbart, he told me, and I believe him, I miss that dude a little bit more every day. As we're going through what we're seeing, going through what we're going through with Trump and the whole deal and the FBI and all that stuff, I tell you what, I miss that dude a little bit more every day. I would love, it's like a little kid, I'd love to call him up or tweet out to him what we're doing here, and how much he's been an influence on a positive influence on all of us independent folks, and how much He means to us. His work means to us. Um, but that's the cool. That's the cool part. Paul says in the chat room, Paul Swanson on the Swanson Report. That's Swanson that's with an E because he's Swedish, and he's a Swedish guy I know. If one viewer will share and enroll just one friend, we can begin to make the difference. We can begin in changing the narrative, because that's what we have to do. We have to change the narrative. Because whoever, Andrew told me that whoever controls the narrative controls it all. We have got to control the narrative. Have to. The narrative is the story that's being told. Was it last night that there was a bombing in Manchester? That was last night, right? All these days are sort of mushing and mashing together. It was last night, I believe. And what I went to Drudge, and I looked up the story a little bit, and almost all the sources early were either MSNBC sources or NBC sources, which I was kind of bummed out about. But I viewed some of the videos, which were very, very telling. 2 nights ago, thank you, which was telling, because the MSNBC talking heads did all they could do early on, and they would tell you out of an abundance of caution, but I think it was something else, to not call that a terrorist attack. They did not want to deem it a terrorist attack. Now, let's be real here, because we're on late night with Willie. Let's be real. Let's be adults. When you heard that there was an explosion at an Ariana Grande concert in Manchester, England, did you think that an amplifier blew up and all the nails from it went out and killed 19 people? Is that the first thing that came to your mind? No, hell no, it wasn't. What the first thing that came to your mind was, holy crap, another terrorist attack in a place that's allowing refugees to come in. Another terrorist attack in a country where the mayor of the largest, most important city, London, is a frickin' Muslim, who said today that living in a big city around the world, these attacks are just going to be part and parcel of living in a large metropolitan area. Well, he just said this is going to happen, and there ain't nothing anybody can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just going to happen. That's how it's going to be. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Are you effing kidding me? So when you saw that, you knew right away. And it isn't because you're some sort of Islamophobe, xenophobe. No, because you're a freaking adult. You're an adult, and you knew. You said, you know what? I bet you that's another terrorist attack. Holy crap. Will Europe survive? Or is it already too late? Will Europe survive, or is it already too late? It may be already too late. Don't you think? It may be too late for Europe. With the election of Macron, I guess, in France, somebody who's pro refugee, somebody who's pro-Islam, it may be too late. One of the first thing that I tweeted after the election of the new president of France was that France has fallen again. France is fallen again. It's kind of a shame, but I think that's what that's what we're looking at. I did a broadcast last night, I guess it was, or night before last, and what I was really more concerned about, frankly, when I heard about the bombing, when I heard about the then 19 dead. I think the death toll has risen to 22, and the number of injured to 59. It may be more than that now. I thought about the parents, because Ariana Grande is a teeny bopper pop star. So her audience is the preteen and teenage girl. So that place had to be teeming with little girls. Thanks. Little girls, preteen, and from probably 8 to about 15 years old, 16 years old. That place had to be crawling with little girls, preteen and teenage girls. So when 22 people are killed, I think, oh my God, some of these babies were killed. And mainstream media and MSNBC and NBC were bending over backwards and contorting themselves into pretzels to keep from calling it a terrorist attack, because that's what they do. Now, I've said to you before that the problem with mainstream media, the problem and pretends that they're not in the mainstream, but they are. If you've ever watched any of those broadcasts until they get to commercial, have you noticed one thing? That you see the very same commercial on MSNBC, CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, and Fox News. And it's the sponsors. It's the sponsors that are paying the bills. It's the sponsors that are pushing the buttons. It's the sponsors that are saying, you know what? That guy, we're not going to put any more ads in his show. You need to get rid of him. It's the sponsors that are doing that. It's the sponsors. It's always the people who are writing the check who are driving the bus. Let's just be real. It's always the people who are writing the checks who are driving the bus. Yes, and we see the same commercials over and over and over again. Paul is right. So always know that that's the people who are in charge. So if you see the same commercials, if you see that same Cheerios commercials on Rachel Maddow, on Bill O'Reilly, on Tucker Carlson, on what is the gay guy from CNN? Paul, help me out. Anderson Cooper. Shows how little I watch those guys, right? I don't even know what their freaking name is. When you get up in the morning and watch George Snuffleupagus on Good Morning America, I don't think he's on Good Morning America anymore. But if you see George Snuffleupagus on Good Morning America on ABC, and you see the same Cheerios commercial, it's the same people driving the bus. Who's ever writing the check is driving the bus, right? Same folks, same people. That makes sense? And while you've decided to support, well, I'm just going to watch Fox News because I'm not watching the mainstream media. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Oh, Snuffleupagus just does the Sunday shows anymore? Oh, okay. Shows how much I tune in to watch George Snuffleupagus. So how, you know what, come on, think about this for a second. How can George Snuffleupagus now be this person of great analysis and commentary when he was part of the Clinton White House? Now, if he's going to offer an inside perspective, a little bit of inside baseball, okay. But the fact of the matter is that he's not just offering a little inside baseball and how things work. He's taken a position. What's his position going to be? Is he going to be right down the middle after serving in the Bill Clinton White House? Do you think he was right down the middle when it came to anything about Hillary Clinton? He worked for her husband. It's stupid to even think that he might be able to. It doesn't make any sense. But now he's supposed to be one of the most important voices in analysis and commentary in mainstream media. How's that even possible? It's ridiculous. And you're right, Paul. George Stephanopoulos is continuing the Clinton narrative, and it continues to this day. Everything that he says and comments on is being seen through those lenses. So it's really time that we do something different. It's time that we make the switch. Now, I know that it might be tough. Oh my God. I know that it might be tough to go cold turkey. So I'm not asking you to. What I'm asking you to do is to switch out one. Take one of the people that you listen to, one of the programs you listen to, one of the newspapers that you read, one of the websites that you read, and switch it out for an independent source. Now, if you don't know where those independent sources are, you can go to our Facebook page, the Make the Switch Facebook page, and you can look for any number of those sources that are on our Make the Switch Facebook page. Paul and Paul Swanson and Kim McClinton have been stalwart in posting articles from all sorts of sources to that page that you can now check out. You can now take a good look at and find out. Excuse me, my nose itches like nobody's business. That you can find out that there are other voices, that there are other voices and other sources for you to check out and refer to. You can check out stories. Is what you heard true? Is what you've heard? Is what you've heard fake news? Is it just agenda? Because now you can find out. Because what we're giving you is alternatives. And we're telling you that there are alternatives. There are alternatives. You don't just have to buy into whatever these folks are saying. And that's not a clickable link, but that's the link. You know what? And you can also take those with you. There's also, you can get the link to the mobile site. You can get the link to a mobile site, so you can take your smartphone with you, and you could have all of that right there at your fingertips. So it is. Let me help you. It is as easy as the CNN app. It's as easy as the Fox News app. So there isn't any difference. So there's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse for not making the switch, or at least making the switch for one thing. Make the switch for at least one thing. Will you do it for me? Will you do it for me? And support. An independent source, because something about, and I'm over time, and something about the independent sources is this, ladies and gentlemen, that we don't have cherry. Have you noticed that on the Willie Lawson program and Late Night with Willie program that we have not had advertising from major media corporations or major corporations like General Foods, McDonnell Douglas? That we haven't had any of that kind of advertising. That the only kind of let me be upfront with you. The only other kind of advertising you see are for people who are all small business owners that I know that try to help out when they can, and frankly, my friends that I'm trying to support. So some of the advertising that you hear is unpaid. Because they're my friends. Some of them have helped out before, but they can't afford to continue to help out on a monthly basis. But you know what? Because Christine Vasconcello of Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com, is a good friend of mine, and she's helped me in my campaign, and she's helped me here on the show a couple of times, and even personally from time to time. I'm going to hold up her sign. You know, in radio it's called trade ads. Yeah. Um, you know, my friend Gary Knight, you know what? I want to see that young man succeed. He's a dear friend of mine. And he's the one that put up the fightbackmedia.shop website that you can go to on one of his funnels. Didn't ask for anything, just did it because he wants to help out. Yeah, so I want to see that young man succeed. So I'm going to hold up his sign. I'm going to say, if you're moving to this area and you want a new home, I'm going to tell everybody, go to newhomestpa.com. Newhomestpa.com. And thank you, Paul, for putting the Bloomingdale's flower thing in there. I appreciate it. And New Homes of Tampa Bay is www.newhomestpa.com. If you want to know about the hottest communities in this area and you want the inside dope, the inside information on how to look, what to look for, nobody knows more about it than Gary Knight. So you know what? I love the guy, so I'm going to hold up his sign. Not everybody writes me a check. But we can't keep doing this. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Paul. That's the fightbackmedia.shop website. That right now in that funnel are those little fidget spinners. You can get them for free if you just pay for shipping and handling. You can get actually 2 for free if you just pay shipping and handling. Newhomestpa.com. So, Paul, when you and the wife want to move down here and build yourself a new home, make sure you call Gary. He's a licensed real estate agent. If you're not going to build, he can help you find a place to live. Great guy. Great family. So that's what we do. So every ad you hear isn't an ad that says, that's writing me a check. Quite frankly, most aren't. So when we talk about supporting people, we have to talk about something that Stacey McCain, the other McCain, talked about when I saw him at Right Online a couple of years ago. I got you, Paul. I got you. What he said was, the 5 most important words in the English language are hit the freaking tip jar. Because this is how we continue to do this. We can't continue to do this. Although right now this BeatLive.tv app seems to be free. I don't know if it's going to remain free. But you know what I know isn't free? The computer that it's running on. The microphone that I'm speaking into. The internet service that we are using is not free. The electricity that's providing the lighting so I don't look like, hang on a second. I don't look like that. None of that's free. The Tampa Electric Company doesn't think I'm doing a good thing and provide me with free electricity. Spectrum Cable Company doesn't think I'm doing a good thing and provide me with free cable. And all of those are the same, listen to me, are the same business expenses of any business. Got to pay to keep the lights on. Got to pay to keep the internet service going because that's the vehicle by which we broadcast. And the equipment. The equipment right now is my laptop on a microphone that I paid for myself. And if you're going to do it, I don't know how bad this is going to be for the sound, but just as an aside, if I can run down a rabbit trail for you, if you are thinking about doing something like this, get a good microphone. This is a Blue Yeti microphone. It's not blue, but the company that makes it is blue, and the model is Yeti. So it's a Blue Yeti. A lot of top studios use this microphone. Get yourself a good microphone. But they're not free. They're not giving them away for people who are doing good things. They're making you pay for them. All right, listen, we only got about 20 minutes. I want to talk a little bit about the future of urban conservatism. After speaking with C.L. Bryant this morning. C.L. Bryant is the force behind um, the movie Runaway Slave. Now, if you have not seen Runaway Slave, you are not, or you're not planning on seeing it in the next half an hour, you are not my friend. Did you hear what I just said to you? If you have not seen Runaway Slave, the C.L. Bryant movie, or you're not planning on watching it on Netflix in the next 20 minutes, you are not my friend. You are not my friend. You are not. Because you don't really care. You don't care how I got to where I am. You don't care. You're not interested. The movie for me was one of those things that said, wow, I wish I could have stated my position as eloquently as the movie stated my position. I wish I could have done that on my own. The movie talks about how Democrats have gone into urban America and destroyed them. Thank you. C.L. Bryant has a radio show, Conservative Voice for America, and the link's there in the chat room. The link's there in the comment section below this, so you can check that out. And CL works for Freedom Works, so it's cool. You'll hear all that if you listen to our broadcast from this morning. But the movie talks about all that stuff. You go to runawayslavethemovie.com. You can order the movie, or you can go to Netflix, because I think I watched it on Netflix. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I watched it on Netflix. It's an eye-opening motion picture. If you order the DVD, have a party of some of your political friends on both the left and the right and show it. Boy, oh boy, are you going to have topics to discuss. You're going to have stuff to talk about when that movie's over. I guarantee it. And I'm saying it that way because of Justin Wilson from Louisiana, because CL lives in Louisiana. I guarantee it. You're going to have something to talk about. So I'm wondering, with all the things that are happening with media, the future of the urban conservative. Because I've said, and I was pleased and encouraged to hear the same from Sonny Johnson, that she believes, as I do, that the answers for the future of urban America are in the heart and mind and spirit of the urban conservative. Because we understand that it is primarily an economic situation that we are in. And it is primarily a mind control situation that we're in, that we have got to break free. Justin Wilson, thank you, because I just went down that rabbit trail and I just assumed that you knew who the hell I was talking about. And Paul says, not everybody knows who the hell you're talking about. So when you make these bizarre references to Justin Wilson, no one knows who that is. Yeah, no one knows because I'm old. I miss that guy. That guy, he passed away. He had one of those first cooking shows. He was sort of a Cajun galloping gourmet. A little bit of wine, a little bit of wine. I love that guy. Anyway, but anyway, we're talking about that urban America is being held hostage by the liberal left, by the progressive left. And the first thing, and the first chain of being held hostage is economics. We still, in urban America, suffer more unemployment than everybody else in any other segment of America. And it is the thing that will make the difference. We suffer from a commercialism and a self-destructive, community-destructive consumerism that allows dollars to escape the urban core like they are on fire. And all of these things are being supported and lifted up by the progressive left. If you listen to the program that I did with Ciel this morning, I mentioned that he mentioned that Black people are treated like mascots by the progressive left. I have said on my program, both the morning program and Late Night with Willie, is that Black people are treated like pets by the progressive left. And what do you want when you have a pet? You want to make sure it's well fed. You want to make sure that it has a nice place to stay and that you can bring it out and play with it whenever you want. So as long as your pet is comfortable, he won't bite you. As long as your pet is comfortable, as long as you're not mistreating your pet, as long as they're comfortable, although they're still chained to the porch and still dependent on whether you get up in the morning and feed it or not. As long as it's comfortable, probably won't bite you. And that's exactly how the progressive left treats Black people in America. That's exactly how. So the hard part, and Ciel and I talk about this, is convincing urban America to bite through its chains. Bite through your leash. Free yourself. Free yourself. You don't have to stay on the porch. You don't have to put all your eggs in the same political basket. You don't have to. We are, as a community, diverse in so many ways and diverse economically as well. There isn't any reason in the world why somebody who is on food stamps and receiving public assistance, why you have to vote if you make more than $200,000 in the very same way. Your interests are very different. Let me help you. And I'll be real because this is Late Night with Willie. White folks don't do that. To all my Black viewers, all my Black listeners, white folks don't do that. You don't find somebody who lives in a for the most part, in a $750,000 house, voting the same and acting the same as somebody who lives who rents a 14-foot single wide trailer. They've got different interests. Do they not? They've got different interests. And until we start as a community voting our interests and first voting our economic interest, we are going to be the well-fed pet on the porch. And what do we and what do they make us do? What hoop does the progressive left make Black people do in America? If that evil Republican shows up on the porch, he's there to take your bone. Bite him. Doesn't matter what he looks like, doesn't matter what he says, doesn't matter what he's holding, doesn't matter what he's offering. If he shows up on the porch, he's there to take your bone. And that's just awful. If the Republican shows up, if the conservative shows up, bite him. Which is why you see so much of the progressive left, especially in the Black community, with a quick knee-jerk reaction of hate and disdain for Republicans. Let me tell you a quick story before I run out of time here this evening. Way back when in 1960, I don't know, 69, Started school in Progress Village. Met a friend of mine. I was the new kid who didn't have the Southern accent, who still had his New Jersey accent. I was 68 in third grade, and it's hard being the new kid. And I was a new kid, but there was another kid who understood about being the new kid, even at 8 years old. It was my friend Wendell, and I got picked on by everybody because I was skinny, which, as you can see, I fought through. I didn't quit. I fought through, and I ended all that skinny crap, right? I had a New Jersey accent, for as much as a black person can have a New Jersey accent at 8 years old. And I was different. I didn't grow up. I wasn't born here. I was different. So whenever you're different, whenever you talk different, especially as an 8-year-old, kids pick on you. Except Wendell. Wendell was my friend. Wendell ate with me at lunch. Wendell sat next to me in class. Wendell talked to me, and he was my friend. I went over to Wendell's house and I played. Wendell had, let's see, I want to make sure I get this right, 5 brothers and sisters, I believe. I think at one point he had 6 brothers and sisters. Charles, Ronald, Batavius were his older brothers. Valerie was his older sister. Suzette, Paula, and Galen were his younger sisters. I had such a crush on Suzette. Suzette was like 7. She was like a year younger than Wendell. I had such a crush on her. Thanks. All right, super. I'm glad everything's back in sync, and it seems to be as I'm watching the broadcast preview window. Thank you, appreciate it. So he was my friend, but he was military family, so I think he knew a little bit what it was like to be the new kid. Some years later, like military families do, they moved, and I lost touch with Wendell. Wendell and I hadn't spoken. We spoke a couple of weeks ago. We had not spoken since 1975. But Wendell found out through Facebook that I am a Republican. I'm a conservative Republican. And he said, "Oh boy, so you're a Republican. You must eat." This is what he wrote me. You must either be rich, and you don't care about people. And I thought, he's got to be, I thought that he was joking. I really did. I thought that he was kidding. I thought he was kidding. And I knew that I was going to talk to him in a couple of days because I had told him when to call me. And he said yes, and he would. And I thought, he's going to tell me that he was just kidding. He was just telling me that he was being sarcastic. But he wasn't being sarcastic. Now, this is the kid that was my friend and befriended me as an 8 and 9-year-old, who now, years later, after getting back together and reconnecting, the first thing he did, he hadn't talked to me since 75, was attack me personally because I put on Facebook that I'm a Republican. That's the sort of knee-jerk, reactionary, mean dog on the porch pet that Democrats want in black people. It doesn't have to be reasonable, doesn't have to be rational. That if I say I'm a Republican, then I'm out to take something from someone. The fact of the matter is, I'm so glad that my son, who's 26, gets it. It's a deal. It ain't that Republicans or conservatives want people to be poor. Hate poor people. We hate poverty. I don't hate poor people. I hate poverty. There ain't nothing good or noble about poverty. Poverty sucks. Not having sucks. But for Wendell to attack me that way early, it kind of hurt my feelings, and it's hard to hurt my feelings. It really is tough. Because I tell you, for the most part, I don't give a damn. For the most part, I don't give a damn what you say. For the most part, I'm like, bite me. I don't care. But I was really excited about hearing from Wendell. As you could tell, Wendell meant a lot to me. His friendship as a youngster, as a young youngster, meant a lot to me. I was thrilled to reconnect as old guys. He called me, and I tell you what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about his kids. I wanted to talk about his marriage. I wanted to talk about what happened to his brothers and sisters. I wanted to know about their kids. I knew that his mom and dad had passed away. But I want to talk about everything else. What the heck have you been doing for the past 40 years? That's what I want to talk about. All he wanted to talk about was how much Donald Trump sucked. How much Ben Carson wasn't Uncle Tom. How much he hated Marco Rubio. Yes, I do a talk show about politics. I do. But damn, I didn't want to talk about any of that stuff with him. I don't want to spend our first hour back reconnecting talking about that crap. I was bummed out. And quite frankly, I still am. We haven't talked since. And except that he's commented on some of my posts on Facebook. And he has said that he listens to my program and that he likes it. And that meant a lot to me. But the left has got black people like like the attack dogs on the porch. If they say they're a Republican, attack them. Don't see what they're actually saying. Don't hear what they're actually saying. Don't look at what's in their hands. Don't look at what's in their heart. Just attack them. That's how you treat pets. That's how the progressive left treats black people like pets. And as long as they keep them comfortable, it's very, very difficult to get someone to leave their comfort zone. It's very difficult to convince somebody who believes they're being taken care of that they're actually being made prisoner, that they're actually a captive, and they deserve to be free. And they can be. It's hard to convince somebody who's in bondage that they could be free, because they cannot imagine that, first of all, that they're in bondage, and second of all, what would they do if they were indeed free? It's like the slaves on the plantation that after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation and finding out that slavery had ended in America, they didn't know what else to do. They're like, where are we going to go? What are we going to do? They had never imagined a life outside of their bonds. They had never imagined a life outside of their chains. It is the urban conservative that has the answer. It is the urban conservative that is broken free of its chains and has the answer for the urban America. We are saying, run. Run from Master's plantation. Run. We're saying. I don't know the future of the urban conservative. It is an uphill climb. And from the top of the hill, rocks are being thrown in our way, not only by the liberal left in black clothing, but then the big media who serves the progressive left. If you like what we do and you like what we're doing here, go to fightbackmedia.com. That's fightbackmedia.com. fightbackmedia.com. Let me help you. Let's see if I can write this in here real quick. Let's see if I can do this. Fightbackmedia.com. There you go. I can do it. Fightbackmedia.com. Click on the donate button. Help us out. Any gift is appreciated. All right, I got to get out of here. I got to get to bed. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, take care of yourself. Thank you, Paul Swanson. Thank you for all the viewers who are viewing. Thank you for everybody who sees this later. We'll be back on at 9:05 for the Willie Lawson Show on the Exceptional Conservative Network. We'll see you when we see you. Peace.